after the show.
Oh, I'm supposed to start. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, the show's done now, so it's just,
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Whenever you're ready.
Anytime now.
We haven't talked about this yet, but we spent some time together on St. Patty's Day this year.
Drinking and cutting up.
Had a lot of fun together, but
As you know, Sam and I don't drink anymore, which makes St. Patrick's Day interesting.
that's right. That's
Boy,
what I wanted to talk
does
about
it.
because Sam was kind of sidebar complaining about it or just venting about it. And I wanted to say I'm really
I sure could use an Irish coffee about now.
Is that a Jell-O shot?
I'm really sorry, that it in other words, you were saying that this was the first time in a long time that it bothered you.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that. You could have talked to Murphy about it because you guys have that in common. And I do believe when you're going through something, the worst thing to do is isolate about it. You should talk to somebody.
Is that the first time you've done a parade since you stopped drinking?
I did another one, but it wasn't like this. Where,
Okay.
it's St. Patrick's Day. It's all about the drinking.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't all about the drinking for everybody around
From
you.
what I saw. No.
Really?
Oh, that's right. It was about the drinking and then falling down. Yeah,
no.
it was, I brought drinks, soft
Root beer
drinks and waters, but I still found that because of whatever the tendency I have to have something in my hand the whole time.
Yeah.
Really?
So I was
It's-
drinking water
You
and
did
root
have
beer.
water most of the time.
But
I
that's
saw
good.
You.
At least you had that. And, and it's good that, you had a place you could use the bathroom if you had to. So, with that much liquid. Yeah, I felt silly because Jody and I were rushing around crazy. We had a really busy weekend. And so when we went to this gathering, I didn't bring anything. I literally
No, we
had the
brought
coffee
some
I started
stuff,
the morning with, and that was it. I
We
had
didn't
my little...
bring beverages. I mean,
Right.
I had a coffee. I showed up with coffee.
Right. And I probably could have used a little extra caffeine at that moment, but that was the only thing. But I know exactly what you're talking about. I somehow over the years the oral fixation part has gone to a degree. But if I'm in that situation, I tend to either do the diet versions of the energy drinks,
Right.
Yeah, he does.
you
Yeah,
know,
he did.
or sodas. Water, I don't know, doesn't work for me.
It's got to have some kick.
It's true, though, because I got tired of drinking the soft drink, so I switched over to water, and it's just like, it's water.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it.
The thing is, you in this situation, you wouldn't want to have stayed home. You're going to be in these situations for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that it was like that for you and you couldn't get away from it for the several hours we were all together.
Okay, usually when I've been in those situations in the past, I have been drinking too. And so you don't notice when you're drinking what's going on around
Yeah.
you like
Right.
this.
Yeah, it's a whole new world, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, because when you're completely sober and people are guzzling around you and, tripping, falling, doing, slurring, being funny, whatever. It's just
You're just an
I
observation.
have nothing to come back with. It's just like, yep.
Well, it's you also realize that there's a point. If the people you're with are maintaining, it's usually not a problem. When they cross that line that we used to cross to, you still think you're hilarious. It's not
You're
so
not.
much the case, right?
It
Exactly.
never looks
And
good.
so that's one of those things that you should feel good about. You know what I mean? You're not actually like off the charts over the line.
You're not, and I want to say this to both of you, and I'm sorry if this seems like ageism or something politically incorrect to say, and send us your email and fuss at me, but I think the older you get, the worse it looks. Honestly,
I would agree with that.
The older you get, the worse drunk looks.
Well, look, I'll be completely honest with you on something. When I went through, my entire process, there were some. There were some courses I had to take. There were some places I had to be, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
And so-
yeah, I had to do that, too.
Okay, and so, in one of those, group sessions in the courses, I was the oldest guy in the room, and I was 42
Yeah.
43 years old
Yeah.
at that time. Everybody else was in their younger 20s. And so that either means that they were just like, making a mistake and not into it. But once you start to get older, it can be an indication of other things.
Problem,
Right.
right.
And so, but I hear what you're saying, Jody. I don't think that you're being
Not that drunk ever
disrespectful.
looks good, but the's
Right.
something about older that's just like
That it can
shouldn't
be
you
troublesome.
kind of over this
Well,
by
and
now.
especially if you spot it at 8 in the morning. It'd be particularly troublesome, right?
Yeah.
The other issue that got me this time, and it hasn't been a problem, because, a year and a half, I quit just over a year and a half ago. I quit, and I haven't really had a temptational event.
Temptation.
Does that make
Is that a
sense?
word?
Yes.
That's a temptational event.
I like the word.
It
I
was
mean, I've been in
a temptation
social,
event.
I've been in cocktail parties, I've been to Christmas parties, but it doesn't bother me to like, oh man,
Right.
This really looks good. I want to take part.
But
this was
did.
the first time where it was just like there was a lot of. I was trying to concentrate on what we were doing, but there was a lot of noise in my head.
Was
like,
there really?
One shot. What's one Jello shot gonna?
Oh,
what's
Sam.
one beer? I'll just have one beer.
So-
and then,
Well, good
and
for
it
you.
was
I'm
just
glad.
constant. It was annoying to have to
That's
put up with that.
I'm glad we're talking about it now, because if you had that noise in your head, that sounds to me like it would have been the time to call somebody right after, or talk to Murphy.
Well, yeah,
like
I was
y'all
right
should've-
there.
What?
Whatever you do, don't talk to Murphy about that.
That's real. You're at war with yourself. I'm just saying.
But then when it reached the point where everybody was goofy, falling down, whatever, and it's like, okay, well, that passed.
good.
Because
So-
now you see obviously
What
this
you
is
would
what
have
I
been.
used to do.
Right. Good for
Right.
you. See,
you guys did it up big too.
and
Not
but
this
me and,
one.
Me and Sam.
No, you used to do
oh
it up
yeah. Oh,
way
I,
big.
I was not. Yeah. You're right.
There was not
Yeah.
a lot of maintaining going on.
I know.
Now,
No, I
now
was-
Murphy and Sam are just no fun.
Not true.
But I know exactly what you're talking about. What I do, I don't know if you call it a trick. It's just the way that I do that. When that still hits me, which it still does, even how many years has it been now? 2011. So it'll be 8 years, May 19th.
But who's counting?
But it still does pop up. The moment where I'm like, man, it would be great if, and I wish. Well, I allow that whole movie, what I call a movie, to play out in my head. Because here's what happens. Then the next step will be this, and then I already know that I'm gonna when I'm drinking the first. I was always looking forward to the third and the fourth. You know what I mean? And then then I don't control, and then apparently at some point I lose my ability to think clearly, and then I do something I'm not supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the movie again, where I'm like, okay, that's the reason I don't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And usually if I can get to that point, it's just a feeling. It was kind of like when I quit smoking, the same thing. I mean, you feel it, that it's about whether you act on it or not. And just because you feel it doesn't mean you have to act on it.
Right.
It's almost like, if you're upset and frustrated, you don't necessarily have to emote at that moment. If you stop for a minute and go, wait a second, take a deep breath, think it through before you actually say something you will regret later. To me, it's the same kind of thing. And I was always an impulsive person acting on the feeling. And so what you were talking about is like the just one, man. I played that game like you don't know for 3 years. Just won this, or maybe beer will be better than. I mean, I played all those mind games. Fortunately, I never went back and
Right.
indulged.
The
you know?
thing,
What you were describing is maturity
Well,
and learning.
maybe.
Well, learning yourself. Yeah.
before this year and a half stint, the times where I would quit, it was always that.
Sam.
I knew I can control this.
Right. You talk
I'll
yourself
have
into
a couple
it.
drinks, I'll be fine, but a couple led to a couple more. Pour me.
Pour me another.
Yeah.
Okay, since we're all very close and we were there together, I had one Jello shot, and
You
that's
had
all
two.
I had. Did I?
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
I never saw that.
Yeah.
Did I have two?
Yeah. Trust me, you did.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh,
Did it
that-
bother you?
Green. That must be lemon lime.
Did it bother you?
No.
Good.
No.
I'm glad.
No, because it's my problem or my
Yeah,
issue.
right. It's our thing to do. I mean,
There's no reason you should not have a drink or anybody
You
else
sure I
in
did
that.
not have one? It took me forever to get it out of there.
No, you had two. You had
Okay.
one early and you had one later.
I never saw that. Was I just not paying attention as usual?
I'm your wife. You don't pay attention. No, I'm joking. I just wanted to make sure, because if you're sitting here both talking about it and I was there, we didn't bring anything. I didn't do any serious drinking that day, which is fine with me.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, I don't want to feel horrible later,
Yeah.
because I was offered all kinds of things all day long, and I'm like, no, I'm good. So I just remember thinking, I don't want to feel
Yeah.
horrible later.
And
later
I
either.
mean, you don't, and that's good because it's your personal decision. It has nothing to do with me or anything like that. I know that you're respectful of that, but there's nothing that you should do or not do
Okay.
to impact me. With what I do.
Yeah, you want to have two Jello shots? Knock yourself out.
Fine. Okay.
I bet they were good, huh?
Yeah, I can really relate to what you guys are talking about. I'm in a different
Producer
boat,
Chad. Producer Chad.
but I've worked a Saturday shift for about 10 years now, like going back to my college days.
Right.
And so I've only been to a St. Patrick's Day parade about like 2 or 3 times in the past 10 years because essentially I would have to ask off or get off work in order to participate in such. And I've had some fun times doing it, like if I wasn't working. So like I have good memories to back up on, but now that I'm getting older, it's sort of like, I really don't want to take time out of work, which I'd consider to be, part of my profession, and then also it's how I make money. Am I really going to give that up to do something essentially stupid like this? I mean, sure, it's fun, but like it's a real great way to get in trouble,
Yeah.
especially if you go overboard. And
Well, it's on the alcohol part. If you don't go down the alcohol road, you're probably going to
Yeah,
be
you're
okay.
fine if
And,
you
and
don't.
it's nothing against anybody that can pay. There are plenty of people that can pace. What Sam and I are talking about are two people who don't know where to draw the line.
Yeah, there was no pacing. It was
Exactly.
full-blown drunk.
Hurry up, get there now.
Yeah. I'll put it to you this way, Chad. My glass was never half empty.
Right.
Not in that respect.
It was always, oh, gee whiz, I got to top this off.
Right, exactly. And order another one before this one runs out.
That's right. Can't tell you how many parties I went to where it would be the cocktail parties where they come around with your one drink, and while they're giving you that drink, I'm ordering the next one because I know it's going to take you a while to get back here.
Well,
Wow.
or if you thought it was going to take a while, just order a double.
No, they're both mine.
Murphy's way.
So, look, I'm glad that you were able to kind of talk yourself, through that. I'm standing right there. You can always, poke me in the shoulder,
Okay.
if you need to. I'm just
I
saying.
know, I
exactly.
know.
I mean, especially with Jodi doing Jello shots in front of us. I'm just kidding.
I really didn't think it was two, but
I went to
whatever.
tap Jodi on the shoulder, but she had her hand up, licking a little plastic cup.